All right, so
Anyone on at 5 o'clock, so.
yeah,
Okay, I'll keep it on. This is
so it's 5 after 5, and I'd like to call the December 10th, 2024 meeting of the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District to order. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
But allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kevin.
Good. So, let's take care of approving meeting minutes from the November 12th. Yes, I'll make a motion. I'll second that. All in favor of approving those minutes? On it. Aye. Next up, payroll and manifests that we had before us recently. Motion there.
The accept the payroll manifest. We'd like to sum it off Monday, right, Mike?
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, motion to accept the,
all right, I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye. Okay, so that motion passes. Let's skip on down while we're waiting for Stephanie to, well, let's jump right to important dates here. January 14th of next year, we've got our budget and rates hearing at 5 p.m. January 22nd through January 31st is the period for candidates to file for the one open commissioner seat. March 11th of next year is voting day, and then March 13th is our annual meeting at 6 p.m. But we let's say Thursday.
So there's the,
Yes.
okay. So, the last day, when you started advertising for how many thoughts there are in the candidates?
Barbara, the clerk, puts that in the paper on things 2 weeks prior.
2 weeks prior?
Yeah.
Okay. So that'd be, January 22nd, that would be the, what?
That's the first day to begin sign-ups. And it ends on the 31st.
Oh, okay, yeah, so number, okay.
Yeah.
All right, just a brief opening of the
10 days.
yes.
so is that posted on the website also?
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure it was in a power plate.
Yeah.
That's not everybody reads the paper.
So,
Yes. So maybe we'll jump back, Kim, to you for business manager items.
Or was it number 5 that you said you
I
wanted?
don't have anything more than what the important dates right now.
Okay.
Do we want to talk about some of the budget?
Yeah, we could.
Talk about budget, and if everyone, there's an agreement, we'll finalize it to move forward for the January hearings.
Right.
What's the big game we're in the field here at the game?
14th.
Oh, yeah.
January 14th. That's our budget hearing.
Yeah. No, I got something I want to get. That whole PFOA, I think that we ought to get a little bit into that and maybe have a little presentation, have Jason give us like a little slide presentation in the budget hearing or at the annual meeting. And, can be able to say, yeah, this is a lot of stuff going to be going around. You don't think it's really that well, but it's starting to bubble more and more. You got to create some basic stuff like the slideshow.
It'll definitely be tied to one of the warrant articles that we have for solid and
Yeah, well, that'd be great. Yeah.
So perhaps at the annual meeting, it'd be a good time because we have time there usually while we're waiting for
right.
all the ballot boxes are open. So you're talking about something like general education for the public.
Which that. Yes, except for just the road, a brief. He had a whole bunch of stuff. I'm sure that he from like
Yeah, it probably would be good to have that move onto the website so we have some information there that's available for the public since this is.
I mean, it's surprising to hear that we don't got PFOAs in our water, but we do have about storage.
Right.
That, if you don't do anything except convey that to people, but, that's a good thing for us. You can really understand, maybe they'll pick up the language of it and the dishwasher or whatever they got and look at the ingredients, they'll start. My wife has a scale on her phone. She scans the stamp, tells you how good the food is. Great.
I use it all the time.
Yeah,
Interesting.
I mean, it's shocking when you see what comes up. I mean, it's like, things that you thought were, we used to take them for a long time, that they were healthy, and not like at all.
Right. Well, I would say, yeah, focus on the basic, just some real.
That's all. I don't know. Scare them.
There's an enormous amount of really complex science out there, but there's also some really basic information that I think can't be said enough times.
Yeah, but plastic is still right. And so that's right there. You do. Like, they're the honey.
Right, the whole microplastic.
Okay, that's how good we're all
Yeah.
agreeing.
Well,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're asking Jason to throw in here, Jason, here's a project for you, but we would greatly appreciate it, and if we can be of any assistance in that, I would say.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, it's important that we, provide a high-quality product, our solid dewatering, so that we can continue to recycle it, and then it doesn't have to be disposed of at a landfill or a incineration facility.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I saw an article today how Bill before Congress to not hold the people who had
Oh,
processed it and spreading it on the land from landfills.
Yes.
Yes, them immunity.
Yeah.
So,
That's a huge issue right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of the regulations point at everyone,
right.
and no one is immune at this point. No one is exempt from, even right down to the end user could be liable for the contamination.
They did the same thing with asbestos, right? They wanted about the neighborhood address and everything like that, but now they just buried it on landfill.
This is a whole nother ball game, yeah.
You didn't even uranium,
No.
But might be just as bad. Sorry. Oh, yes, sorry. Well, I kind of like to step in and tweet on that on the budget as well.
ELS?
Yeah. So let's, since our last meeting, we've had a number of purchase orders. They are as follows. Russell Resources, $650.38. EJ Prescott, valve stem and etc. at $1,632.25. Tie sales, meter and meter related, $16.04 at Pete's Tire Barn. A new set of wheels for our loader for $5,954.50.
Give those away.
Yeah, that's painful.
Hello.
Black Maple Diesel and Automotive, I think it is, labor 3,500. Somatex Inc., $3,330.26. Clean Waters Inc., $2,083.50. That is all. Motion, please, to enter these into the record.
I'd make that motion.
All those in favor?
And we just had the one more that we just submitted this week. That was the emergency hot PO.
I think about
So
that.
that one, it's still circulated. We had a chlorine analyzer at the wastewater plants fail, and so we put that on order to get that coming. It should be here in 2 weeks, but in the meantime, we're taking trap samples throughout the day in order to make sure that we're chlorinating and dissipating properly.
Well, that was good of them to honor at least a partial warranty on it failed, or it seems it was only 3 years old.
Yep. We tested the electrical and everything, and nothing was, zapping it, but we think it was the motherboard in the unit that failed.
Yeah, I'm just
Typical of a lot of electronics nowadays.
Yeah, right. All right, with Steph here, let's, shall we circle back and continue in order? go back to, I assume there's no new business, so let's go back to old business. If that is in fact true. First up on the agenda is the issue of commissioner and treasurer stipend by request.
Yep, I settled half this in times. You know, I thought it was correct. It was God when I brought him out. Then he should totally be that. I'd like to suck that niche. Holy trucking kings there. It's quite its forever.
Well,
What is this about? Is this about the,
this has come up before. I mean, Tom, just to refresh the issue, Tom has asked that we consider increasing the pay to the commissioners and the treasurer. Some of us have voiced our opinion on this.
You know what? Said that we should go local.
you're leaving it up?
Yeah, he shouldn't be making twice what we are. And we
Well,
shouldn't be making
historically,
some
though.
level at 300.
All right, does the treasurer do a lot more work? I imagine that they have more responsibilities.
My name's on everything. I'm the one dealing with the banks and the money.
Kept put in holy mouth. I mean, really, Bob, what would you suggest here? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. You see what I'm saying?
I'm happy the way it is.
But I wish you would be.
We got, when we looked at, I'm trying to remember, was there a differential? But I thought overall our pay was higher when we compared some of the data that was shared with me up some other data though.
Yeah, yeah, that's why I voiced my opinion that I felt as far as the commissioners were concerned, we should not raise the pay that we receive.
The treasurer is quite a bit higher than the one David was in, except for Oakset. It's comparable with Oakset, right? I felt like the commissioner's pay was much higher than a lot of the other areas, right?
In that.
Yeah,
I really go Conway, Rollins,
We try to get a sample of village districts, not large communities as well.
yeah.
yeah,
And I imagine Hooksett was the one that's a lot bigger than we are.
Yep, but it is still a village district.
It's okay.
A village water district or, okay, well, I mean, really it comes down to, I would think at least, the size of the budget, right? I'm a threat. $20 or $30 million enterprise is much different than a $4 million ghost.
And those commissioners make a quarter of what our commissioners are making.
Right.
do you think they're like fortune who's supposed to be real?
I don't know, I'm just
I
saying.
think that you gotta look at it
So
with
salary
somebody that's
looks
been,
high.
it's been 20, 30 years since it's changed. And since then, hot water went up double, triple, and everything around us. I mean, this board has to be concerned about getting quality recruits here. That's why I want to see us go to 5 people so that we don't run into
Let's not get ahead of us because that's
okay, so well, it's all tied in together though. And, you gotta be able to say to a friend or whatever and say, hey, come on in, they're gonna get you out at night, but then you get a stipend for $500. It's $300 is very, very low for today's inflation really set.
Well, I mean, I could argue on the other hand, though, that for example, the planning and zoning board.
Our project managers are always saying that they need the support from other staff, to review projects, certain things. So I told them, I said, you need to give them the support they need to get our stuff moved towards getting out to bid. I mean, because of the timing on this stuff, and said on that project you have until April to cut trees, so that the April to November provision falls in place again with the bats.
Right.
Pilot's all set to go.
We're at 90% design,
90%.
so it's going to be going to DES shortly. That's part of the shortfall that we'll talk about.
Paramount goes to DPS, 90% of the things give DPS up.
No, 90% plant design.
Oh, yeah.
With DES.
Oh, that's
So
the
they can
design.
design.
I see. Oh, that, yeah, that comes from, where's that come from, the US side of the area or from, yeah. This is, so never.
No, that, right, that one is the last project on USDA, yeah.
And especially driving the eye shield so yeah, kind of a game.
Well, like,
So you met with the trust fund yesterday to talk about potential application, special
Probably
for
I mean, we have a bunch of things here. Old
it's
business.
easy.
the kind of on the order. We have to meet with the subcommittee in early January.
Yeah, I mean, I'd rather have stuff in on this whole business stuff.
Person.
About
We
20%.
needed to define which we top of house by the bill and the change that.
Yeah, I've got one problem on that.
Okay, Jason has quite a bit of stuff. We should have thrown that about just a couple.
Or Highland Street Reservoir.
Start that.
oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
That's all the way up the hill.
I'm in favor of doing.
You don't want to adjourn pretty much?
No, I think once we're gonna get started and move, just bounce around.
Sure.
So there's some things I'll be.
Yeah, she's running a little late, but she'll be here.
Oh, great. Okay, start, you understand?
I had two of those. Oh, she's gonna be here well. Let's
All right, so
Anyone on at 5 o'clock, so.
yeah,
Okay, I'll keep it on like this. Is
so it's 5 after 5, and I'd like to call the December 10th, 2024 meeting of the Plymouth Village Water and Sewer District to order. Let's begin with the Pledge of Allegiance.
But I heard this
To the flag of the United States of America and this to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Kevin.
but,
So, let's take care of approving meeting minutes from the November 12. I'll make the motion. I'll second that. All in favor of approving those minutes? On it. Aye. Next up, payroll and manifests that we had before us recently. Motion there.
they'll accept the payroll manifest. We'd like to sum it off on day right on, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, motion to, accept the,
all right, I'll second that. All those in favor? Okay, so that motion passes. Let's skip on down while we're waiting for Stephanie to, well, let's jump right to important dates here. January 14th of next year, we've got our budget and rates hearing at 5 p.m. January 22nd through January 31st is the period for candidates to file for the one open commissioner seat. March 11th of next year is voting day, and then March 13th is our annual meeting at 6 p.m. But we let's say Thursday.
So there's the
Yes.
okay. So, the last day, when you started advertising for how many thoughts there are in the candidates?
Barbara, the clerk, puts that in the paper on things 2 weeks prior.
2 weeks prior?
Yeah.
Okay. So that'd be, January 22nd, that would be the, what?
That's the first day to begin sign-ups. And it ends on the 31st.
Oh, okay, yeah, so number, okay.
Yeah.
All right, just a brief opening of the
10 days.
yes.
So is that posted on the website also?
Yeah.
I just want to make sure it was in a color plate.
Yeah.
That's not a very recent paper.
So,
Yes. So maybe we'll jump back, Kim, to you for business manager items.
Or was it number 5 that you said you
I
wanted?
don't have anything more than what the important dates right now.
Okay.
Do we want to talk about some of the budget?
Yeah, we could.
Talk about budget, and if everyone, there's an agreement, we'll finalize it to move forward for the January hearings.
Right.
What's the big day we're in the field here at the game?
14th.
Oh, yeah.
January 14th. That's our budget hearing.
Yeah. No, I got something I want to get. That whole PFOA, I think that we ought to get a little bit into that and maybe have a little presentation, have Jason give us like a little slide presentation in the budget hearing or at the annual meeting. And, you know, can be able to say, yeah, this is a lot of stuff going to be going around. You don't think it's really that how well. like it's starting to bubble more and more. You gotta keep it feed some basic stuff like the, the slideshow.
It'll definitely be tied to one of the warning trickles that we have for solid stand.
Yeah, well, oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
So perhaps at the annual meeting there to be a good time because we have time there usually while we're waiting for
Right.
all the ballot boxes are open. So you're talking about something like general education for the public.
Which that. Yes, except for just the road, a bridge. He had a whole bunch of stuff, show the deed from like
It probably would be good to have that move onto the website so we have some information there that's available for the public since this is.
I mean, it's surprising to hear that we don't have PFOAs in our water, but we do have about storage.
Right.
That, if you don't do anything except convey that to people, but, that's a good thing for us. You can really understand, maybe they'll pick up their laundry detergent and their dishwasher or whatever they got and look to be ingredients. They'll start. My wife has a scan on her phone, scans the stamp, tells you how good the food is.
I use it all the time.
Yeah, interesting. I mean, it's shocking when you see what comes up. I mean, it's like, things that you thought were, we used to take them for a long time, that they were healthy, and not like at all.
Right. Well, I would say, focus on the basic, just some
That's all. I don't know. Scare them up.
There's an enormous amount of really complex science out there, but there's also some really basic information that I think can't be said enough times.
Yeah, the plastics too.
Right.
And so that's right there. You do.
Right, the whole microplastic.
Okay, that sound good? We're all
Yeah.
agreeing.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we're asking Jason to throw in here, Jason, here's a project for you, but we would greatly appreciate it. And if we can be of any assistance in that, I would say.
Yeah, I was just going to say that, it's important that we, provide a high-quality product in our solid sea watering so that we can continue to recycle it, and then it doesn't have to be disposed of at a landfill or a incineration facility.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
I saw an article today how Bill, before Congress to knock all the people who had
Oh,
and spreading it on the land from land.
Yes.
With them,
Yep. Sorry.
That's a huge issue right now.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of the regulations point at everyone, right? And no one is immune at this point. No one is exempt from, even right down to the end user could be liable for the contamination.
They did the same thing with asbestos, right? They wanted that they gave them address and everything like that, but now they just buried it on landfill.
This is a whole nother ball game, yeah.
You didn't get anything,
No, but might be just as bad.
Sorry. Oh, yes, sorry. Well, I kind of like to step in including all that on the budget as well.
Ellis?
Yeah. So let's, since our last meeting, we've had a number of purchase orders. They are as follows. Russell Resources, $650.38. E.J. Prescott, valve stem and etc. at $1,632.25. Tie sales, meter and meter related, $16.04 at Pete's Tire Barn. A new set of wheels for our loader for $5,954.50.
Give those away.
Yeah, that's painful.
Hello.
Black Maple Diesel and Automotive, I think it is, labor $3,500. Somatex Inc., $3,330.26. Clean Waters Inc., $2,083.50. That is all. A motion, please, to enter these into the record.
I'd make that motion.
All those in favor? Aye.
And we just had the one more that we just submitted this week. That was the emergency hawk PO.
I think about
So
that.
that one, like, it's still circulated. We had a chlorine analyzer at the wastewater plants fail. And so we put that on order to get that coming. It should be here in 2 weeks, but in the meantime, we're taking trash samples throughout the day in order to make sure that we're fluoridating and disinfecting properly.
Well, that was good of them to honor at least a partial warranty on it failed, or it seems it was only 3 years old.
Yep. We tested the electrical and everything, and nothing was, zapping it, but we think it was the motherboard in the unit that failed.
Yeah, I'm just
Typical of a lot of electronics that way.
Yeah, right. All right, with Steph here, let's, shall we circle back and continue in order? Go back to, I assume there's no new business, so let's go back to old business. If that is in fact true. First up on the agenda is the issue of commissioner and treasurer stipend by request.
Yep, I settled half this in times. I thought it was correct. It was God when I brought him out. Then he should totally be that. I'd like to suck that niche. Holy trucking kings there. It's quite its forever.
Well,
What is this about? Is this about the,
this has come up before. Tom, just to refresh the issue, Tom has asked that we consider increasing the pay to the commissioners and the treasurer. Some of us have voiced our opinion on this.
I said that we should go local.
you leave it up?
Yeah, he shouldn't be making twice what we are. And we
No,
shouldn't be making
historically, though.
300.
All right, does the treasurer do a lot more work? I imagine that they have more responsibilities.
My name's on everything. I'm the one dealing with the banks and the money.
Can't put in holy mouth. Really, Bob, what would you suggest here? I'm not trying to put you on the spot. You see what I'm saying?
I'm happy the way it is.
But I wish you would be.
We got, we looked at, I'm trying to remember, was there a differential? But I thought overall our pay was higher when we compared some of the data that was shared with me on their data though.
Yeah, that's why I voiced my opinion that I felt as far as the commissioners were concerned, we should not raise the pay that we receive.
The treasurer is quite a bit higher than the one David was in, except for Oakset. It's comparable with Oakset, right? I felt like the commissioner's pay was much higher than a lot of the other areas, right?
In that.
Yeah,
How do we go on? Conway, Rollins,
We try to get a sample of village districts, not large communities as well.
yeah.
yeah,
And I imagine Hooksett was the word. It's a lot bigger than we are.
Yep, but it is still a village district.
It is. Okay.
A village water district or, okay, well, really it comes down to, I would think at least, the size of the budget, right? I'm a threat. $20 or $30 million enterprise is much different than a $4 million ghost.
And those commissioners make a quarter of what our commissioners will make.
Right.
do you think they're like fortune who's supposed to be are?
I don't know, I'm just
I
saying.
think that you gotta look at it
So
with
salary
somebody that's
looks
been, it's been 20, 30 years since it's changed. And since then, hot water went up double, triple, and everything around us. I mean, this board has to be concerned about getting quality recruits here. That's why I want to see us go to 5 people so that we don't run into
Let's not get ahead of us because that's
Okay, so well, it's all tied in together though. Can, you know, you gotta be able to say to a friend or whatever and say, hey, come on in, you know, it'll get you out at night, but then you get a stipend for $500. It's $300 is very, very low for today's inflation really set.
Well, I mean, I could argue on the other hand, though, that for example, the planning and zoning board don't receive any.
Yeah, you know, tell them about telling boy. That's like going in and having your knuckles twisted. I don't know why. Sure, you'll be faced wondering the rest of your life why you put them
I like it. I like serving with them.
Well, I like steering too, but it's a tough end of a job. Somebody walks out not liking you.
Yeah.
You're doing something. So, but anyhow, I'm off the subject. Look, if it's going to be, I'm just not going to bother with, you know, you can just skip
Well, I
the
mean,
whole thing, right? You're going to poke me down.
Well,
You don't want the change, I get it.
I just think,
Some
like,
people do.
I don't know that there's a strong argument to raise the salary. When you look at these
Okay.
other
Five
districts,
5-person boards.
well, that's a different issue.
I don't like the comparing style boards
But
because I think that's like putting your back on. You should be expecting more because everyone on this board and not just, well, I only get $3 a month, so I do it for nothing. Just like, cool, does that give her excuse to have the quality you want?
well, I mean, you could argue that people do it just for the pay and don't want to be here or don't have any vested interest in being
That
here.
is true, but that's, if we had to find people that sell the nominating committee, so that people, if they wanted to, just like the model will go on. Got hit with, shake-hold with stuff, well, did I?
the electric co-op, they've got issues.
She quit. She quit the hell
She
with
should
3
quit.
million. I don't know anything
I mean, they
about it.
had a president and a vice president as on the finance, so they've got some
Okay.
issues.
Yeah, well, let's keep it
I'm
here,
sorry,
please.
but
You know, well,
this is
if
what
we
I'm talking about, this, the same with the resume file. It's a thing so that if somebody comes in, they sign up. If you say, well, if you want, you put your names with the, you know, nomination committee. You could submit a resume to them. And, you know, if you get that, that's like if you wanted to get somebody who isn't nominated, you'll probably get that one. Because you've had, you know, 3 weeks, then you can put a couple of outsiders on them.
but let's
I
look
think
at,
it's hard to get people to run,
Yeah.
right?
I agree.
look at, yeah, I mean,
Well,
well,
then the price, the
I would say,
whole of the fee.
What are we gonna get for?
1980 is.
So we've switched, we're not, nobody's making a motion for the pay for commissioner term.
Okay, go ahead. Yep.
So we're on, no, I don't wanna make a motion.
No, you should. You guys are the ones that do the.
I don't wanna change anything.
Well, then vote that down.
You don't need to. You don't need to.
if we're not,
If nobody,
gonna say-
nobody makes a motion, then there's no vote necessary.
There's no right
And
necessary.
if there's no second, there's no vote
So
necessary.
I make a motion. Not gonna get a second.
No.
Then it's a dead issue. That's the way the system
Okay,
works.
and then the 5-person board.
I would say, like, usually I've seen boards expand when they have more work than they can handle. Right, and I would say, what are we gonna get for expanding it? Right, do we need more work from the board members besides the level of oversight that we're providing now?
correct, I mean, it's, you know, I'm not entirely opposed to the notion of a 5-person board. I understand that 2 additional people here provides some different opinions, as you mentioned in your reasons list there. I think that can be good, yes. But I also know how many people that Jason and Kim and I and possibly others reached out to before we approached Steph, and it was hard to find somebody in the 10 years.
You don't want to do any change in the compensation. I mean, what can I say? You guys don't want anybody to come to the meeting. You don't want anything to change. And it's not right. You're not supposed to have a public thing like this and not encourage public participation. And you don't, in very subtle ways. We stay away. We put the same black and white ad in there, you know, come to the annual meeting. I mean, you fall asleep to this stuff.
Well, I mean, maybe that's because the material is not super engaging. I can tell you, having
It's
last
engaging enough for me. I mean, a $600 bill every floor, right? That's like, I think that there's more people would be engaged if they felt like they could get a little bit of the voice.
well, I mean, we can't force people to come to meetings. There was a meeting last week at the town hall regarding proposed zoning changes. There are 20 or 30, that room was full, but there was 20, 30, 40 people there.
That's
not a majority.
meeting. That's a great meeting.
But it's a
We have
tiny
meetings.
No, it's a
fraction of the
controversial meeting.
Was I didn't know.
Well, it's just because there were people on both sides of the issue. How many people are on both sides of the issue with us?
right.
Well,
I heard this is more of a business.
the point is that when we do it, it's all friends and family. There's like 20 people, there's not even 20 people here. There's like 8 to 10 people. We pass the budget, we do everything. And, you know,
Tom, I was moderator for this district for years.
Oh,
I,
so what?
no, but I'm just telling you, I have never seen more than 10 people at a water and sewer district meeting all the years I've been doing it.
That is the truth.
Yes,
You know, I
it
think
is.
this room full.
Real?
Well,
Yeah,
Maybe
full.
there was a
I'm trying to think whether it was Tenny Mountain or it was whatever it was, then this room was full. Now, that happened, so
must have been before my time.
Well, I mean, actually, I can think of in the 10 years I've been here, 1 or 2 times when there were possibly 10 or 12 people in here. And there was a particular issue that I'm trying to remember what it was. But it's not often that we stir up a level of interest to bring additional people. We can't force that. We can't.
And the other issue is that every year they're fighting to find somebody else to run. Every time. I mean, how many times has been one name on the ballot?
Right?
How many times? I mean, I've counted ballots for years.
this year's gonna be different.
That's
Well,
fine.
I'll be trying to get on boards. These are real targeted, these small boards. Well, if you ask me, you would have 2 positions open, which is like, take this whole thing over, you could fund it, hire 2 people, can hire and fire for whatever they want, they could change the rate up and down.
Well, we could also expand the board to 5 people and have 1 or 2 of those positions open a good bit of the time. I mean, there's no guarantee that we can
But
find
then you got
somebody
5 people, you got 3 more. It's really stable.
if we can find people.
Well, boy, Chris, we did to appoint them the first year. So there's a matter of the booth, if they say, okay, let's do that, all of our friends and family, well, we gotta be behind it. Then right at the next meeting, we get to start, making it people.
Would check on the legality of that. I don't think it can go into effect immediately after the meeting. It would have to go into effect a year after.
I believe that's true.
No, I don't know, well, what to do.
Well, first of all, from what I understand with discussion with Kim, is that if we were to advance this issue, it has to go on. It is a ballot measure. It is not something we can vote on to advance it as a ballot measure, but it has to go to March.
Printed on the ballot.
Printed ballot,
Yes. Yeah. So that will go up to a vote. We don't know whether it's a simple majority or whether
and
it's.
so that spreads it out, so it's not just the House, it's not just our.
It is not limited to the village district. It is limited to the town. As I understand.
It would be village.
Village district.
Oh, village district.
It's only village district.
That's a lot more,
on the ballot.
that's a lot more votes than you get in here.
Right. Well, you get a couple hundred people in here.
Yes. Well, you know, all I can do is tell you what I think. I spent here for 2 years, and I tried to come to something pleasing, tried to help the district, and just with it's different. I mean, you know, I've lost everything for the last 2 years for True Life. And that's, I read a full statement. What about Swanville? Does anybody give us their votes that it was?
How is that possible that you've lost everything like? And it is because it's not just the composition of the board, because the composition of the board has changed over that time. So like,
Since I got came, well, yeah,
I came on, but somebody else was on here before me. Just
you people against everything I have.
Well, that's not true. At least you and
No,
there was a-
voted to give them the thing, because after that, you just didn't want anything to do with anything I have, and it still goes on. That was such, yeah,
perhaps there's a reason for that. I mean, I don't feel like I'm really being that controversial in
more fiscally prudent, right?
yeah. I mean, that's just where I come from. I'm a pretty fiscally conservative person, so
what's that mean?
that means
You know, just being nice.
It's just like the guy telling us that, you know, oh, I'm glad you mentioned the chairs when we're authorizing millions of dollars worth of construction in the line. I mean,
Well, yes, but
Well, there is what is necessary and there's what is not necessary.
You're talking about infrastructure against people sitting at a table for an hour a month, Craig's. That's a big difference. Huge difference.
you know, look, where goes you leaving to just consecutive nice. Correct. So basically, nobody wants to move on any of this stuff.
Well,
Those two.
as I said, I would like to reiterate that I'm not entirely in objection to the notion of a 5-person board, but I just think from a practical point of view, it is a difficult hurdle to achieve. I mean, I think I would be swayed on this if I knew there were some people who were eager to be on the board. Anybody. And I think that's.
do we
Go ahead,
ever...
Stephanie. You're going to witness this year.
So one of the things that I was thinking of today, I was like, for a while, I was on Martinville Valley's like website. Boom. And they have a thing on their website that says volunteer, right? It's like on the main town websites where their main links that they put out there. And then you go and there's a blank form that they have, and they say, are you interested in volunteering on any of these things, right? And then people could fill that out, check off what there is here, let's submit it to the town. I just don't know that we do that as a town. Do you know what I mean? Or how do we recruit volunteers, right? Because some of my board members, it's linked, right, to these other positions in town, and some are competing, right? Obviously, if you go for one thing, right, people aren't going to do both things.
A lot
The rest of the trades.
relatives, friends and relatives, that's how they go through something. I came on here and kept the spirit at the ceremony. And then I got a friend of mine who was sharing with, and 2 oats. And that was it. I was from the details, but we really, that's all it takes, 2 oats, yeah. And that's yeah.
What does that mean? That's all it takes is two
Two
people.
Lord, you trust something different with hard work, people with when they have, you know, this have any kind of contract, they don't have any, and don't think that times you can feel that you can sense that. And that's the way it is. It's halfway out just of being also 2 people could change the rates. They could come in here. I go, okay, we did it. We want 15% rate decrease this next quarter. Jason would be like, well, 10. That's how we do that. But whereas the plans were, this just brutal. You establish with that.
You know that there's a lot of pressure on the town, right, because of taxes being so high. You know, there's definitely a lot.
Yeah, in us too. I mean,
There's not all the areas. I was with taxes are very high.
some old friends, some friends moved in across the street from me, and I was talking to her, and he things like I couldn't believe for insurance with building. They want all kinds of coverage of this, of coverage of that, and then he's going, what if this for the whatever it is, 100 a month, now we're still talking account with us that has to pay it. I mean, I don't, anyhow, you know, you guys are running things to stuff the
I don't believe that's necessarily fair statement to make.
it's the way it's been. I never got the furniture. I never got any of these things. Even as far as putting your file in there, everybody laughs at me. Stop shit like that. That's true. But listen, you know, 2/3 of the things I put out here, ridicules it. And Chris just sits there like, oh, another thing I've been pushed down the drain.
But ridiculing is very different. I'm saying that I don't think it's necessary. Because I don't agree with you, then you tell me I'm ridiculing. I'm sorry, but that is unacceptable. I refuse to accept that.
Okay, move on.
Well, no, I mean, I think it's worth stating, I believe, that you make some valid points, but we cannot, I don't think we can plan for any kind of ironclad defense against someone who would be hostile to the intentions of the good operation of this District.
got liability right now. If I was to just go home and my wife would say, Tom, you got to be out of there, you'd be in a mess. There's plenty of people would love to run. They're not running for a position. They run to take out to the board. But you don't want to acknowledge it, Chris. You didn't.
I'm not acknowledging
It
it.
didn't work when you had the other guy here, when you promised these people if we're going to do it. It went off for 2 years. And then I said, we've got to pay the people. You drag it out for another 2 years. One of these times, you're going to drag something out and it's going to really come back and bite us. So, it's, hey, fuck it. I'm not into that. It's Christmas time. I don't want to be a hard ass like that.
So I
The
think on
truth
the
is, that's
list-
where it is.
I think number one on your list, 4 and 5 are the same thing, right? But not getting a two-person situation again. Less likely to be two-person monopoly. Administration not dominated by the two.
They're different because it just has to be two friends. It doesn't have to be.
How are they different? I don't understand. Would not get into a two-person situation again. Less
Yeah,
likely to be
okay,
two-person
that's when we had a guy, the last guy kind of lost it. And that lost us in just two persons make a decision. What do you do? If
So like when one person left and there was two of you.
Yeah, that's okay, that's one issue. The other issue is when you got you and he and me, and you guys don't care what I say, and you got to
Not
start
that
on
we
the
don't
whole
care,
thing.
we just disagree.
No, I know, I'm not saying that.
You
I
did.
mean, I'm just saying that's how we read it. You ask me, well, what is this like?
We get it. I
That's
think
how
I
it is.
understand what it means, but
I
I'm just
told you, we
wondering.
had a friend before,
No, we don't
and then we
do
had
that.
this other attorney, and we did it. He voted no on everything he could. I don't vote no on anything. Charities, the Watford,
Well, I mean, I think it's important as board members that we stand up and discern the issues.
That's fine.
And then vote how we think, right?
yeah.
Administration not dominated by any two members, so those are the same issue.
You don't understand that?
Number 6, I get them, I just think that they're the same. Members able to listen to meetings without an issue.
Yeah.
I don't think we should be concerned about that, right? I think we want members to be making it to the meetings.
I know, but if you have others, it's not like, he two people left. I mean, that's not right. It's that.
I mean, I do somewhat think the voting issue can be a little bit weird, right, with just 3 people. It is. But I don't know that that's necessary. I haven't felt like
I did.
that they've been major issues that we
No,
conflicted over.
some governance issues are major issues. They're all looking down there. What do we want this to look like in 5 years? You get the wrong board. Jason go apply someplace else, Kim do what he's got to do, and you don't know what. We have very tough examples of this board kind of in the control and not good people. And that's a issue.
So how will we protect ourselves from that, though, if we don't need that to 2 more people? Right?
Well, for one thing, that if we did that, then, we could appoint these other 2 people. And that would be great.
Initial.
Initially.
Well, wait a minute. No, I'm not so sure about that because it goes to election and then it does not go into effect till the following year. And that may be because in the following year that's open for,
They have to be.
it is open for
It
election.
goes out 2 years if you do that.
No, it would go out till this March.
The vote would be this year.
The vote would be in March.
Yeah.
The election would be the cost.
And then the election would be, they couldn't be appointed as soon as you do that.
I think we need clarification, but I'm hearing no, but I think we would have to clarify that.
I went through it on the school board when I was in the school board, and they couldn't.
What, how many did they have in the school?
We went through 2 to 5.
Oh,
We had
Because
proof
they
of
were not allowed to do it. We had to
So
do
like-
exactly that process is that we had to put it on a warrant article and then after the fact.
to get people,
And there's good, and if you think about it, there's good reason it should be now.
That's right.
Because
It's called democracy.
right, yes, that's exactly. Thank you. Yeah. I mean, I think it's important to understand the procedure involved.
Can I ask one other question, though, before we get as administrators, there's always a little bit of managing the board, right? Would making the board larger increase your workload?
I would say it would.
Yeah, I think more contacts would definitely
Increase the
increase it. Yeah. I had a thought. I don't know if it's valid or not. Would an alternate be considered?
I think an alternate is a great, how to work around that.
An alternate?
They're not.
Right, just like we have on
Right, but then that would only be for if somebody has to miss, which we tend to have pretty consistent attendance, but
That should, because just know,
I think you're always.
two, diet and Dre, I say cut.
because you can work
The other
into,
place you got,
ideally, I think having an odd number, right?
That's
You're supposed
what you
to,
do.
but if you had an alternate, it would only sit and vote if somebody wasn't here, right?
So would you?
that wouldn't be easy to get. No, I'm not.
Well, I mean, think about that as somebody who also is expressing an interest and getting getting involved and getting up to speed on what's invited.
And
Well-
I mean, I think
Hot, like,
Well, look,
I think that's a different issue, but I think the alternate, the other benefit of that would address one of your other concerns. That if one of us was to have to step down for some reason,
Yeah.
you would have the alternate in place.
yeah.
I think it's meeting. I think it's.
Alternate doesn't require all these other board else. So I,
So you work in the planning board,
there's no one,
and zoning board.
no,
Yeah, but we need you every time.
I'm not sure as an elected official that can work, whereas a non-elected official, I think you may kind of have to investigate.
I don't recognize seven.
An alternate, because you're an elected official, and an alternate would not be an elected official.
So that an alternate would be able to come in and just take over.
Unless
Yeah.
there's something in the law that I'm not aware of, but I would ask to that be investigated if that's a.
I wish I could get you to go on record and vote on these things. That's what I wish.
What? I mean, I'm not gonna
make a case on it.
I did look at RSA 52, which governs districts, and there is one section in there which specifies that the roles that people play in a village district mirror those which they do in a
Select board.
in the select board. So
Okay,
And select board does not have.
I don't know.
well,
No, so
that was right. Well, I wouldn't want to increase their workload. That's part of my, so like, I would say for the 5 board, it sounds to me like I would want to support that if there was like a really, not major reason for doing it, just because I don't want to increase their workload. If things were really contentious on the board, I don't know that they are. And I feel like things are really with very wild.
Right, I guess we'd like some feedback from you guys if you think the workload is appropriate for the board as well. Are we, putting too many things forward to the board that needs specialized committees or anything like that to?
I don't have any idea what these other people receive. But they receive all the stuff that I've seen, if they asked about PSOAs and all that stuff, and got that copy of the state.
I share with everyone, yeah.
Yeah, see, good. Chicks, I set them up, give nothing to it. It's all right. Well, there's nothing else even, you don't want to put them on these.
I don't know what all are. So administrative resume file, is that yours too, Tom? Administrative resume file?
That's that I originally we agreed that we were going to do an administrative resume file when we were looking for you, I believe. And I said to you when you came on, I said, we got to put everybody put their resume in the files.
Oh, right.
You people, once they give us status, it encourages them to give us status, rather than just walking in the door and go like, oh, okay, I'm going to sign up, and putting down there and pay $1 anymore. And you don't know anything about that guy. If you say to him, oh, well, if you're going to sign up, talk to me after you give the dog or not, then he's on to you can see the other guys are doing like,
no.
I mean, we don't really influence that through both times amendment. of the
Pat the thing.
of committee of the board, but he becomes a commissioner. We don't really influence him that. It's a vote, right?
Oh, yeah, but there's that.
We can
See how this place runs, this place is like a submarine. It runs right down the surface. So it goes, we don't do anything. So I really believe you guys have been doing it so long, but nobody even notices it. But when
How long have been here 6 months? I don't understand.
no, I hope you're going to get to see the whole process go on. And then you'll see that nobody comes in. Now it's like, geez, guys.
Well, explain how we're supposed to get people to come to
It
meetings.
has to do that. It's not,
But you're suggesting that somehow what we do here is affecting whether or not people show up to the meeting. I mean, I think that's kind of an absurd statement.
To me, it is always said that if things are running smoothly, people don't come in and they don't bother to come to the meetings. And things have been running smoothly. Our rates have gone up a little bit, yes, but we've set up a new system that seems to be fair and equitable. We had very few complaints about it. So I mean, people come to meetings when they're upset. If everything's running fine, then they don't come.
Was true.
And I think I see creating issues that don't exist. But I get no vote in this. So
But the administrative resume file, why is that on there? Do we need to discuss about it? Is that something you put on here?
yeah, I just told me what that was.
Right. Why
You
did
guys
we talk
peeled
about
it
it?
off. I went, put my TV on.
I put mine in there.
Oh,
I put mine in there.
yeah, I'm the only non-compliant, so I
Oh, you did?
I don't know why it's necessary, but I gave mine.
and again, that's not something that is normally required for somebody who's an elected official in any community.
But it's true. It's not.
It is not. And if I were running for the position and you told me I had to bring in a resume, I'd probably tell you, no, I don't have any reason to. I mean,
You know,
you
can only change things
You
like
keep-
this. It's like this. And that, you guys are fun. I know it's been successful for you. I know why it's been successful. Just that you're doing well, you got good staff, but, we really got saved by this money. And it might not be around another 5 years. And we've got to really come up with some ideas and move this district forward into the 21st century or whatever it's going to be.
What
And
money?
you can't just stay flat.
What is that money that saved us?
Where's that word?
What is that money you're referring to that saved us?
If all this every money, they gave us $10 million to fix up Main Street.
All the grant money that's been coming in.
Yeah,
It's all right.
to do that from,
Just
if
wasn't-
we have to do that from our own revenues, it would be horrible.
Yep.
And, but they did say about some, I think they had some, but so the cost of things is so disproportionate. And, I mean, that's what I mean, that you're going to have to really,
have we not maximized what we could do here in the past couple of years as far as
pooling
federal and state funds? I mean,
how many projects we could do. You tap this money as good as you can. I don't take away from that. That was Mel's plan back like 7 years ago. She came up with that plan, and they followed along. But that was 7 years ago. Right now, you don't have your plan for how we're going to take care of these big things that he's coming up with. And if we're not going to get a plan.
I mean, that was part of the whole evaluation of our rates was to make sure that we were raising enough money in the next 5 to 10 years to be able to cover it and to raise about money because I mean, there's limits to everything we can do. And I think we're doing the best forward-looking job we knowledgeably could be.
I'm fine.
The SWOT analysis, I know that it's been mentioned before.
What?
The SWOT analysis we discussed, right? We're happy to have that done. Is there any way you'd like to do that? Do it. If you want help with doing it, let me know what you want me to do.
No, I started doing it. Here it is. He's gonna us out.
Yeah, I
Right.
got that.
Yep.
We did. Did
Yeah.
you do this?
No.
Okay, well, it just died.
Well, bring it up. If it's something you want to do and you want to share it with us. But I
Or if we want to have, I think,
love it if that was typed.
I just want paper.
I want you to type it because I can't read that handwriting. I saw that.
We'll see you at the next meeting.
all right, so I believe we did bring up SWOT, the notion of the SWOT analysis a couple of months ago, and I thought we decided that it would be a good thing for a work session outside of a regular meeting. I know I've been.
Okay, Chris, the work session, we were gonna have a work session back last summer on something else. We were gonna take her around to all the, show her all the substations.
I did go around with cheese.
You did?
Oh yeah, I've been to tour.
Very cool. Okay.
The work session is different. That's like a, a work meeting.
Right.
So I think we could do that. And it'd be great. Let's schedule it.
I think in January or February, that'd be an excellent time to work on that. I've been up against a bunch of things, and I admit it just fell off my radar. So, let's do it. I'm bored with that. I would like to finalize the discussion on the budgets so that we can all sign off on that before we lose too much steam here.
Sounds great.
I did have one question about that I don't think we've discussed yet, and that was the whole IT contract. I forget when MCI is up, and
January of 25.
so it's right. So have we fielded proposals from other vendors?
We reached out to 4 different vendors, including CCS. They've all said they're going to be submitting proposals shortly. We received one today. So we're hoping by next week that we'll receive the remainder of them, and we can possibly discuss with you, Chris.
Right. Well, but I guess my key question is: should we anticipate an increase in the amount that we've budgeted for that? I mean, we know what we have been paying the breast in the past 5-year contract. So, do we? I mean, it's hard to tell from just one proposal.
Yeah, some of the services that we have budgeted for in the past, we have not used. We've used alternative methods that were free or at no cost. So in regards to cybersecurity, we've used less of that portion of the budget. So I think there is sufficient funds within both the water and sewer lines to fund a new contract.
We've budgeted 35,000 on each side.
Oh, okay.
And we've only spent about 13 of this side. So right now there is still quite a.
Yeah. So, right. I mean, our needs are different now. We know that. I mean, we've done a lot of work on IT. That
Right. The big piece of it is whether the district wants to move forward with purchasing equipment in the future or continuing to lease it.
Right.
That's one of the options that I've asked the vendors to provide.
Yeah. No, that's.
Yeah.
Hey, what about all those available grants that the state have to UV, safety, ED, and all that?
For cybersecurity, we received.
No. I was talking about for the vehicles.
Oh,
I saw, I think
yes.
the state had a whole bunch of,
For electronic vehicles.
yes.
Yeah.
Well, if we can stick to this, I'm sorry. If we can stick to cybersecurity and IT, I mean, we did receive a grant, and
That saved us from spending a lot of money and
Oh, substantially.
yeah, that's where the savings.
Yeah, close to $100,000.
right. I mean, are there other questions on line items in the budget?
But just the 1,500 for training, you got 1,500 on both sides.
Has that been fairly consistent year to year?
Yeah.
Training budget?
Yeah, we typically allow staff to take up to 4 trainings per year. So there's 2 in the spring, 2 in the fall.
It seems like a small amount of money. Do any of these
There's a lot of free training as well. So we try to take advantage of the free training as much as
if possible? Yeah.
They'll be just like this one, 3,000, so.
If it's sufficient, I think it's sufficient.
What line is it at all?
continuously. And it says, it would
Being training this on the third stage, the water's like this.
Leaving the Fridays.
We did up in some, we had 1,600 last year, we went up to 2,000.
There you go.
Yep, we're on 2,000 each side.
Did you spend it all? Well,
No, it's like 1,000.
oh, okay. Then you later push that. Good.
The staff did a lot of training this last year too, didn't they?
Absolutely, yes, we're taking exams and,
Yeah.
yep.
And so anytime they take those exams, they tossed out from the two.
Exams would come out of, I believe, the next line, which is dues, memberships, and licenses.
Right.
That-
Do we anticipate any growth there because of DES
Yeah.
in for examinative?
I mean, we have increased that line up from
All right.
2,000 to 2,500. Yep.
Right.
And we're hoping our last wastewater exam, our staff that needed to take a wastewater exam has taken it last week. We're waiting on the results of that. And then hopefully we'll be into compliance after that. Yep, memberships to trade organizations and trade events come out of that line as well.
I've made a motion for the budget.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye.
That team. Go more record the January game.
And then we have another packet that I provided with some of the capital improvement project funding as well as anticipated debt service. And on the third page is our proposed rates based on the budget. So the second column on that page is FY 2025. So overall, we're looking at about a 6% increase in the base rates and about a 3% increase in the volume rates. And that is that is compared to an across the board 5% increase, which is what we had proposed previously during the rate study. The reason for shifting it a little bit is to more closely align with our debt service. So trying to recapture some of the fixed costs, fixed fees with the fixed costs and just the debt service.
And this revision comes out of discussion. You met with our consultants.
They thought
I had met with them previously, and yeah, we've updated a lot of the information.
Okay. So we feel like those numbers are keep us on our originally set target.
Yeah, so if you look at the kind of the top of that page, you have just under the FY 2025, you have the water revenue to recover. So that's the amount of revenue we need to recover based on these rates. So that doesn't include fire protection and other revenue sources, miscellaneous billings and such. And then the rates are allocated about 74% of the cost recovery is from the volume side of the rates, and about 26% is from the fixed costs of the rates. And like I said, our debt right now is about 30% of the total budget. So we're capturing that with the fire protection and the other revenues. So it's about a 70-30 split, and that's kind of where we should be. The sewer side, we're capturing actually a little bit higher. We're capturing 36% in the base fee. So that is definitely about providing cost recovery for our debt service and a lot of our fixed costs.
Doing everything we wanted it to do.
yeah.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, this
working.
Well, now, we were supposed to be in 5%, rate, 5%, operations. No, 5% operations, 5% the sewer and water, the, volumetric. Yeah, but well,
Yeah, I think-
it was supposed to go out 10, we projected out 10%. Because we knew it was going to get, it was going to get a raise in the cost of materials or go up. How will we do with that?
Yeah, I think overall the operating budgets are have only increased slightly, so I think we're below 5% increase in the operating budgets. Most of the increase that we're seeing is because of businesses.
Right. It's a difference from last year to this year's like 143,000, and most of that is the holding swell debt.
Yep.
Yeah. So we're going to be like 11 or 12% overall increase in cost.
Last time.
Nope, it's less than that. It's about a 4 to 7% increase for the average user.
Oh, great.
So if you're using less water, well, it may be a little bit higher, about 5 or 6%, because it's a much smaller number.
Yes.
And if you're a larger user, maybe towards the 4 to 5% range.
I thought that the other 5% was like Captain Cooper, Earth, or something like that. Or I just remember it was, it came to 10%. It was kind of 5 from operations and 5 from plant material.
I know we've tried to keep the reserve amounts lean while we're taking on high debt service. So that's definitely a board consideration. If you'd like to increase the reserves, that's up to the board.
Yeah, well, we
would
spreadsheet that was on
Yeah,
the great stuff.
We would recommend keeping it pretty lean while we're in a high debt situation.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Muffins.
Do we have the opportunity to refinance any of the debt, or if rates were to come down?
Not the USDA.
I think some of the bond bank stuff, yep.
Creating the bank stuff.
But a lot of that stuff is got low rates as it is.
So we get some pretty good rates on those anyways.
There are a few loans that will be falling off within the next 3 to 4 years, so we'll see a little bit of adjustment there.
Right.
They're already below current rates.
Yeah, like all the curse.
Yeah. Right. Some of that we've been carrying for quite a while. That age.
Yeah.
But so that's the rates. I've included also in the last 2 pages, examples of different customer classes, impacts to those classes over the 4 years. And we can see it's pretty linear. Increases on all of them. There's no big jumps or surprises. It is, an average of about $100 per year per customer increase.
And of course, this all assumes a steady rate of inflation.
Correct.
We don't know like
Right, and when
when the variables are coming at.
we want to make sure that we're covering inflation by increasing by at least 3%
Correct.
annually.
Very nice. So you just want to get the manipulate to the great started and put these ones. It's just gets great.
Well, I mean, this is
Years of work to get to this point.
I don't know. Well, I mean, it's also the stuff that makes this really uneventful, such that if you look at our past, we had some major leaps, jumps in rates at various points in the past 30 years. That
Yeah. So I just wanted to note also that the projections for 2026 to 2030 also include the warrant articles that we are proposing for 2025. So those are baked into this as well.
That's my question.
So,
Which obviously,
yep, they are big numbers. Yep, they are baked in.
Yes.
I can mention those if
I guess we're kind of segueing into your portion of the presentation today. Carry on, Jason.
So there's 7 proposed warrant articles for infrastructure projects at this time. Number 1 would be the Highland Street Reservoir Road at Emerson Street, covering the shortfall for that project. So that's $6.6 million. We've met with the funding agencies at DES and the Drinking Water Trust Fund just yesterday, and we are in the process of submitting a special application for that. Hoping to hear it in January, possibly whether we get approved or not. and we're looking at anywhere between a 20 to 40% grant on that amount. That's what our request is going to be. The trust fund's pretty limited at this time on handing out grants, so they want to make sure that there's a need. So we provided them with information and DES's affordability index as well. We've punched our numbers in to that, and there is a need for affordability here. Obviously, we've taken on a lot of projects, and we're hoping the Trust Fund Commission recognizes that and provides us with favorable grant. And then project number 2 is a replacement of the 2.5 million gallon water tank on Reservoir Road, and that's our low system water tank. That's originally from 1972 it was constructed, and it has not been taken offline since. It's worked every day, and we're looking to get a replacement for that and some redundancy possibly baked into that as well. So that's a $6.3 million project is the engineer's cost estimate.
That's to build the big one.
That's to build a new one, yes. And there is some funds in there as well to rehab the existing. Yep.
So what percent is that?
It's about just above $5 million for the new tank and about $1.5 million for rehab.
I mean, the first one was we get up in 40%.
Yep.
The second one,
We're projecting the same.
oh, great.
Yeah. So in the debt analysis, that's what we carried was 40% grant on these projects.
So good.
Yep. And that's consistent with New Hampshire DES drinking water revolving loan fund. That's what they offer based on their affordability index. And then water well number 1 replacement, $750,000. That's over here at Foster Street. That well is our primary workhorse well right now. We run that about 99% of the time. So once the Holiness wells get placed online, we'll be looking to take that one offline and rehabbing it or replacing it. It currently is in a location within the building, in the basement of the building,
Right.
that's not easily accessible, and the screen in that is failing. So it has a screen with gravel around it to be able to filter the water coming in, and the screen is made out of bronze, and it's from 1952.
So here's a question. I mean, with the new wells across the river, I mean, it seems to me like this is not as much of a priority as some other projects. Am I wrong with them?
I would say it is up there in priority, pretty close to the tank. The tank would be the number 1 priority.
Yeah, I get that.
Wait a minute, thanks,
Yes, please.
water well number 1 replacement, that's what you're talking about? You just said that the only existing one we have, the screen was all clogged up.
Right, that's the one we're operating currently. But
Yeah, but that's the only one we use, right?
right, Chris was alluding to, I think once we get the Holiness wells online, that would become less of a priority maybe.
The homeless wells up and over to us,
Right.
and then we pump it back over to them. So it's actually going to fit more of a burden on us.
Yeah, are we blending the water?
Yeah.
Yes.
And isn't that happening here?
Yes.
On the Plymouth side than in Holiness. Well number 2 is heavily impacted with manganese, and we've been told that we can only use that in an emergency.
So that's the emergency is when you go to pull the other one out.
Right.
Okay.
Correct.
So
You use well number 2 with when the Holiness well comes online, take well 1 down and then bring well 1 back up because the quality for well 1 is better than
Right.
for well 2. Then you'll take well 2 down after you do the repairs for the first well. Okay. I get that.
And the other thing is that we're blending with well 2 from Holiness in order to meet the requirements for magnesium, right?
Right. Manganese.
Manganese, yes.
all right. So yeah, there's no getting.
There's no getting around it.
So
I tried.
it's just because I'm not this sciencey person, but we need to have some manganese, but not too much.
Correct.
So that well is too much, but we need to blend it because we need some of it.
Because we're at the moment, right? We're right up against the.
I get that.
Technically in the water, you don't need manganese at all. But obviously in the human body, you would need manganese. But it's, if we, all of a sudden something happens and we lose the holiness wells for some reason, redundancy is very important.
Yeah.
So that's something we're trying to build into all of our infrastructure projects is redundancy and resiliency, especially with the impacts of flooding and whatnot over the whole site.
Yeah, right.
So that's number 3. Number 4 would be a sewer treatment plant master plan. We started the master plan last year for our sewer pump stations. This component of the master plan would be for the wastewater treatment plant. And then we'd also have the engineers conduct an inflow and infiltration study throughout the wastewater collection system to see if there's groundwater or stormwater getting in or out of the pipes.
So what do they do? Well, flood everything?
Nope, they would set up flow meters in different parts of town to see, if there's a rain event, to see if the flow increases during different weather conditions.
I see. So somewhat this is really like a study that then also developed a plan to kind of say
Right.
the work we might need.
Yep. So if there's, if we're seeing high inflow or infiltration in these areas, then yes, the pipe may need to be lined or replaced and some.
This is why that's kind of more expensive. Because
Yep.
like I would think a master plan wouldn't weigh that much.
And
It is a big system. Yeah.
engineers are very expensive.
Something.
So number 5 is the sewer electric HVAC upgrades, and that's at the treatment plant. We're doing HVAC and electric. We've had some issues over the past couple of years with some of our electrical gear, and some of the electrical gear is just obsolete and original from the 1990 upgrade, so it's over 30 years old, and we have to buy some parts on eBay. So it's not conducive to what the new standards are, as well as that of being able to repair it.
And this is just for the building at the sewer treatment.
Yep, it's for all the buildings within that compound.
Okay.
Okay.
Which is how many?
There's about 5 operations buildings.
Okay.
Then we have two garages.
It's hard because some of them seem like and I said got
Yep.
something where it's when you were
So that's also providing HVAC, which we currently have an air circulation system that is up in the attic that is obsolete as well. Some folks, we've got quoted by some folks to repair that in the range of $50,000 to $100,000. So it's an opportunity to look at other means and methods to provide HVAC to the building. We have a heating system, but we don't have cooling in the summer, and we have issues with humidity and the electric gear as well.
Right. Right. So why don't just all get molded from over the
just to clarify this number 5, the sewer electric HVAC is both the HVAC system and the electrical
Yes.
systems, right? So close.
And then number 6 is sewer dewatering, sludge drying, trailer bay improvements. So that would be to our wastewater solids end of the plant, and that is has some impacts to how we recycle the material. So currently we're creating wastewater solids, which are then recycled at a facility and made into Class A compost. And sludge drying is a technology that takes that material and dries it to about a 90% solid, which ends up being kind of like a pellet. Currently, we dry to 30%, so it's removing a ton more of the water of it, making it lighter weight because we pay by the ton. And being a 90% solid, that meets Class A criteria in the wastewater regulations, and we can recycle that. Many more options to recycle it then, and possibly even turn a revenue on that material. So I think right now we're paying about $150 a ton. We've been quoted several years ago if we made a Class A material, it could be down to $50 a ton. So considerable savings there. And that also has
That's something, how much they charge you to put in something,
to recycle it, yeah.
how to recycle?
Yep, and the landfills are about the same cost right now.
Oh, yeah, okay.
So what's the cost savings? Like, I don't know that this project's going to be $6.6 million over like period of time. What do you think are?
Yeah, so right now we're doing about hundreds of $50,000 to $200,000 a year in recycling, and so like I said,
Costs.
yeah. So if you reduce that and then take the per ton rate going from $150 to $50, it's about a 60% reduction.
Right. So, I mean, maybe in 10 years, you're looking at $1 million to $1.5 million. It cuts into the 6.6, but it's not.
Right.
Return on money spent is not exactly big.
But we have to do something anyways.
Right. I mean, more importantly, this opens our options.
Yeah.
And with
Right.
with the signs that the regulatory environment.
Yep. So it follows, and for example, we were talking a little bit earlier about PFAS compounds and the contaminants that we find in our wastewater. This material does have PFAS in it, but we'd have the option to go and dispose of it potentially at an incinerator or another facility if the state builds one regionally. There's been discussions of that, but it would also open up future improvements or simplify future improvements if we decided to go that route ourselves.
What, taking it down?
Yep.
Because it's dry and it can be incinerated.
Right. Yeah, you can technologies for gasification or making a biochar product, they call it. It's like a charcoal material.
Yeah.
That can then as a great source of carbon. And then the last one, number 7, is the sewer influent pump station and headworks upgrades. That project is pretty much repairing and replacing the headworks, screening and grit removal mechanisms, as well as the influent pump station. We've had some issues in the influent pump station over the years, where the pumps are not fully submerged and they burn out prematurely.
Screw pump, sure.
We have submersible pumps now. We used to have screw pumps. Yeah, went to another facility last week for a winter meeting, and they actually have a pretty neat system. They had a flooded suction lift station, which is water that's above where the pumps are, but the pumps are sitting in a dry room, not in a wet well, and they had water jackets over them to provide cooling. So that was a pretty neat option that we'd potentially use in this similar situation, so that the pumps aren't lodged in fats, oils, and greases and burning up the motors.
But makes for easier servicing.
Exactly. And then also in there we have our grit pump that has failed, I believe about 6 or 8 years ago, and we retrofitted that to be able to run off another pump and provide grit removal. But it needs a revamp and a replacement to get that working as it should. And then also, just providing a better screening as well.
So that's a big price tag there. I mean, are we talking? Is that as high as it is because we've got to build something alongside of? We can't shut down.
Right. We have to plan bypassing into that.
Right.
Yeah. And it's our headworks building is our main defense mechanism at the treatment plant to protect all other equipment. So it's important that we get the grid out and the rags and the screening done. So those are the proposed warrant articles, and we are working on funding on those. We don't currently have funding offers in place, but I think with the passage of these warrant articles, we'll have a be in a much better position to approach funding agencies for these larger cost items.
Good.
So do we have any funding for 3, 4, 5, or was it just the first two?
Please, could I ask so
Yes. 3 and 4, we could potentially offset some of those with reserves, some of the reserves we have now for those specific items, but we'll also probably go out in spring for SRF funding for those. We received the first phase of our master plan for the pump station. We received a $100,000 strategic planning grant, so that was great. I'm hoping we can leverage that again.
So 5 of these are bond issues.
Yeah, I think
All because
all of them we can maybe have fun. Okay.
Yeah.
We don't want to foreclose the options if we were able to receive grant on rice funding.
So that means that polls have to be open an hour and every
Yes, it's just so. So we will have plenty of time to talk about PFAS. So
We'll try to. Yeah, we're trying to get staggered.
we should.
Yeah, we
10, 15 minutes.
we'll try to keep the 1 hour language short and sweet. So move through, man. Yeah.
Yeah. Once you start opening, you don't there's time.
Yeah, they did. And that's what I have on the budget and rates.
Thank you, Jason.
No, thank you for doing all that planning. That's a lot.
Yeah, sometimes I'm afraid to ask, well, what else
Oh,
might there be?
What does this all add up to? 6?
It's about 27 million.
that's right.
It's about 27 million. I just did a rough estimate.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
Yeah. But that's
Whoever's doing
like we talked about before, doing the engineering, the pre-engineering ahead of time, getting warrant articles passed. Both of those put us in a great position when the funding does become available.
Right.
If we had not done some of that work in the past, we may not have been able to leverage the grant funding that we have.
And worst case scenario is if you don't get funding,
Yeah.
you don't have to go ahead with the project.
Absolutely.
You can go back to the drawing board.
Yeah.
So you text you.
and maybe apply again.
Yeah, it never texts you always.
Yes. Yep.
So yeah, that's what the strategic plan is, to be able to advance some of this infrastructure work and get the best funding offer we can.
Think.
Well,
What's your success rate with getting warrant articles passed at the ballot?
100%.
Just need 100 to turn
And in 10 years, I don't think I've seen one fail.
Okay. Good.
Yeah. Yes. When only 10 people show up and 4 of them are sitting here, and 3 of the supervisors.
That's a
Yeah. We had a large, the Main Street project, for example, was a large USDA funded project in 2018, and that did draw quite a crowd to our meeting. And I think unanimously, it was overall, I think there was only 1 or 2 that voted not in favor. Yeah.
Yeah.
that's true. That was the last.
The only time I've seen this movie most recent was when you had a chair, Mel was here, and she presented this whole flow chart. That, we have ring for
Yeah, you're right.
I can remember I came in late, I sat back, and I couldn't even believe how crowded it was.
Sorry.
Yeah, I don't think we had funding in place at that time either. We had an idea that we were going to get the USDA funding, but we didn't know how much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that it? Well, and at that point too, also there was a lot of concern over the main, tearing up Main Street. About
Yes.
Yes.
That was the big issue, was tearing up Main Street.
Yep.
It does have a big impact.
Oh, it does?
Businesses downtown.
I'd say it did.
But hopefully, we'll see it come back as it looks great.
Well, they said it didn't impact you as much as they feared.
Yeah.
But honestly, we got great accolades from people at the parade this weekend. I mean, if you put it
Oh, it was so nice.
It was very, very encouraging because when they announced that these are the folks that tore up Main Street and replaced it. I mean, we got cheers and thank yous, and yeah, it was very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's excellent. Did you live here back then?
I was at and I was kind of buffering, so I don't know. There was like a lot of the equipment coming through for the end, and I missed some of it.
I love the costumes. Great picture.
Which spirit still that?
Yeah, it was a good time.
Is that it?
It's awesome.
Yeah, but we have, there is no, one moment, we have no public comments. Next meeting will be January 14th for the budget and rate hearing. That is at 5 p.m. if anyone would like to attend. And with that, I believe we've done purchase recs of Adjourn. It's 25.